got to streamline this because in the first time of Donnie's generation, he might actually see a Boston Celtics championship. But
NBA Finals, baby, we gotta get this going.
okay, so Evan, you've known Donnie long enough. Do you at least have any rooting interest, at least for Donnie's sake? Are you like, what's the best story here for Donnie? Do you want him to like live it up in Boston, or do you want him just to win it tonight?
I mean, assuming that the Mavericks don't come back, I don't know if there is going to be a game 5 or beyond, but if the Celtics take this tonight, I mean, I'll be happy for Donnie, but beyond that, I don't care.
I want a game 7 just so I can win the most DFS money possible.
Hey, I did change the name because I had to put some question marks after that game 6.
I mean, I don't know. I find like the home court advantage and that kind of stuff doesn't really matter. I think eventually, like, the younger generation is just going to come to the point where they're not even going to care if they're down 3-0. Like, all this, like, statistical data, it matters, but, like, I feel like emotionally, eventually we're just going to get to the point where it doesn't matter that much.
You went to UFC again.
I know.
Damn it, Logan! Quit playing UFC.
You had one
You had one job.
I wasn't even going to mention it. I was going to see if I could slide that one through, but you guys noticed it right away. But the inside joke is, for some reason, I just see the U, and I could close my eyes, and I still think I would come up with the UFC before the UFL. I don't know why. And by the way, I had to come up with a creative title at work today. I had to work double time because I don't actually think the UFL has a name for the big game. It's annoying that the Super Bowl can't be called the Super Bowl and we have to call it the big game. And then actually trying to figure out like what the UFL game is called. I think it was just called the championship game, which didn't feel special enough.
Oh, UFL.
So I'm like,
wonderful. I don't know. What are we going to call it? The Ultimate Mega Title Championship Thunderdome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes?
I like that. Yeah.
I feel like Ultimate Mega Title and Thunderdome have to be in it. Anything else we need to add?
it is true.
The Mega Ultimate Thunderdome title of the UFL.
I like the Bill Walton kind of impression.
Or should we do that first? The UFL Mega Ultimate Thunderdome title.
UFL, if you're listening, get on it.
Yeah,
we need this.
Yeah,
marketing. Goddamn marketing.
The marketing team needs to show us their
You know
big
it would have a
energy.
name if The Rock weren't doing a movie in Europe right now. Like, you know it would have a name.
Speaking of marketing,
Vince McMahon would give that shit a name. I'm sorry.
Well, okay.
It'd be really stupid if it came from Vince.
Oh, no doubt. Not saying it'd be a good name.
Sometimes stupid works.
Vince would give that shit a name.
True.
Vince would have the Omega Omni Bowl or whatever.
You're not mistaken. I went with spectacular by the way. I went with the alliteration. So I went with the spring football spectacular. It was better than the big game.
The Omni Mega Thunderdome Championship.
Now, we do have the random number generator pulled up on my end. Do we want to do Evan first no matter what?
Evan's got to give us our captain.
Yeah,
he's got to know where to start from.
Yes. Oh, if only we had sound effects. Otherwise, I'd call for a drum roll, please.
I don't have my Discord sound effects. I apologize.
Wait. Give me 3 seconds. Just everyone count to 8. I need to hear this on the right mind.
1.
I need the right
2,
mind.
3, 4,
like
5, 6, 7, 8. There we go.
Now, Evan, do you have an idea what you're doing? Are you kind of like placating here? Did you look at the slate? Like usually, I don't think you do. Did you actually do some preparation this time?
I did some preparation this time, yes, and I think I have a good idea of what to pick for the captain for this particular lineup. I mean, I may not have the most experience out of all of you, but I'm pretty set on who I want to go with here.
Who's our captain?
We ready, fellas?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
Justin Smith.
Oh!
The salary save.
I don't mind it, but
a guy I played as well.
Very solid pick. Like, that's going to allow us to do a lot of things.
Are you just saying like
With
conservative
upside, yeah.
upside, cheap enough? Like what's your rationale? You're the captain. You got to set the tone of it.
This should be the perfect player to stick in a captain spot. Like Gov just said, this will give us a lot of flexibility to play around with this lineup. And I love the consistent targets that Justin Smith gets from no matter who the quarterback is for San Antonio. He had 6 targets against St. Louis, 7 targets against St. Louis again. This could either work out if he gets the catches or not. But I'm happy enough taking the chance on Justin Smith. Even better if he falls in the end zone.
Yeah, his consistency has went up too after Lattimore went out. We should say if we do seem a little bit more high paced, high energy, and getting right to the lineup, it is because Donnie, in all sincerity, is a Boston Celtics fan, double time, and is joining us on borrowed time, given he is such a fan. So if you do have to run at any point, Donnie, that we understand it. I want to set that up for the people as well.
Yeah, as soon as
I honestly, I think
gone.
the next, since you went with Justin Smith, I think the next logical thing to do is we need to make the decision: are we playing the quarterback with him?
Is that a question? Are we just doing? Are we?
It is actually a question because,
I
like,
think we have to.
Yeah,
if you're the captain, right?
I'm going for the floor. I'm going for the Garber's floor. But
I'm curious though if Donnie got the bit of time. Go, why would you fade him and why would you play him from a game theory standpoint? Like lay that out for us.
just looking at the total fantasy points and how even it is, there is a possibility that if Smith doesn't fall into the end zone, but he's still the optimal captain on targets alone, Garbers might only have like a 13, 14-point day, which could be beaten by any number of skill players, especially from the other team. Like, I could see Justin Smith with then a Bama onslaught working. So, there's that kind of thing. I do think we will be playing a quarterback in this lineup, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be Garber stacked with him. But I do see the upside. Like, if Smith has a truly big day where you absolutely need him and absolutely need him at captain, most likely Garber's also had a good enough day where you need him raw points-wise in a single game.
That's
now, do we want to do number generator to decide the next picks or no?
Yeah, I think if we get those two out, then,
Okay. Yeah, all right, sounds good. So put Garber's in there, and then we'll get the next.
And there's 4 picks left, and so it was 4 of us.
Yeah. I usually go star player in terms of my number, but in terms of Evan winning captain, in his honor, I'll go a 96.
I am going to go 18 for the 18th banner the Celtics are about to hang.
Ooh.
That's a. I'm gonna go 22.
Caitlin Clark.
It is 27.
So
all right, so that makes me first.
Yes,
it does.
All right.
You can spend money if you want.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking. I think
Martinez is listed as the starter for those of you who are wondering going into this game.
That being said, I think I'm just going to stick in some value.
He was also ruled the starter to start out. Literally ruled the starter to start out, according to Holt. Well, while Gov decides, I'll repeat his kind of point with the quarterbacks.
You know what? Yeah, I'll just put in consistency. Let's throw in Ricky Person Jr.
Okay.
I like it.
Touchdown upside? Like, what would you
like
consider
consistency? Like, even if he has been used every week of the season.
Yeah.
Like, he is a consistent guy in their offense, getting touches, getting targets.
So you mean the floor?
And a touchdown monster, but the floor is there.
The floor is
raw
there.
Points in this game. Like, his usage in this game warrants his place in the lineup.
The last time he faced San Antonio was Week 9, where he got minus 0.1 fantasy points. Does that not concern you?
No, if anything, that means he's bouncing back. He's due. Well, I might pick, honestly, in my own personal lineup, Ricky Person might be my captain.
I think I'm just going to go with what I deem to be the salary saver to let us get everything else we want, the lineup of our dreams. Throw in Birmingham's defense.
Yes.
The Stallions.
Interesting.
Now that's risky going Smith, Garbers, Birmingham.
You would go, the quarterback.
They kind of correlate because, like, if you're throwing picks, you're also going to be right back on the field.
Yes.
I'm actually curious, not NFL.
Airball. Oh, sorry.
Topic here, though, because we have seen a lot of backup quarterbacks. So what chances, for example, do you think, like, we might just see two quarterbacks, and then we hope, obviously, that Matt Corral throws, or not Matt Corral, but, like, Quentin Demps throws an interception at some point? Like, is that what we're hoping for? Like, what's the idea here?
I think that at least one of the two defenses will have a day, at least a couple turnovers. It might be the other defense, honestly, and that's fine. But I want to at least get one.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but we're basically playing that this game is won through the passing game, and then Persons is basically catching a lot of passes. That both quarterbacks will take a lot of sacks, and basically there'll be a lot of passing because both teams will just be inefficient on the ground. Is that how this lineup wins?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're two, though Birmingham did have that little stretch for a while. Yeah. They're two teams that are very good defensively.
I mean, I guess I could see
it dictates their games, for sure.
Gov's point, we are playing, Persons. We're not playing Marable or something. Like, we are playing that they're going to pass a lot, and maybe they drop back and get some sacks.
So I have a question. Being that we are going to trust the Stallions to put up some solid fantasy points, and we decided, well, I've decided we're going to captain Justin Smith here. How many points does Justin Smith have to get to make us happy?
12 to 15.
Yeah.
Is that before the multiplier?
At his price, no, that's before the multiplier. He needs like a 12 to 15 point game that then becomes an 18 to 20 point game.
But we are so different with this lineup. I do not see two people playing a captain with LeBron.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely we don't have to worry about ownership with this because you're not going to have that captain with this low-owned defense. No. Like we don't even need to worry about having a low-owned guy in the lineup. Like what's the best, most projection we can fit? What's the best plays we can fit?
It's my go, right?
Like that's a lot of money, so you can jam in.
Yep.
What do you think?
And we are gonna jam in. We're gonna go Martinez.
Oh yeah.
Two quarterbacks.
I don't hate two quarterbacks. Again, I think with the pairings we have, we can do projections. When you just try to project single game stuff, tend to jam two quarterbacks into lineups anyway.
Yeah.
Because they tend to have the highest floor. Even in a normal game, a quarterback scores 9-10 points, whereas skill players might score nothing.
And that's what this lineup says to me is we're going for floor. So let's go for the most unique floor we can get. We're already playing the defense for the floor. We're playing, Persons because it could be a pass game or a run game, and we're still going to get points. So we might as well just throw in Martinez.
All right. So who's got the last pick? You got 8,800. And we're going to leave some money on the table no matter what. So, this is going to be a good lineup.
This goes back to Evan, right?
No, there should have been 4 of us left. I got the first one.
Yeah, it should have been Evan before you, Logan.
Oh, Evan before me? Okay.
Yeah, but...
Oh, yeah, so I guess I'll take the last one.
If you want any one of the 4 guys, you can switch it out and then make Logan switch out his Martinez.
If you want.
Well, I was going to say, being that we're already so bought in on Birmingham, especially in the running game, let's just stick in Marable.
That works.
Because they have a 2-back committee. They're going to run on San Antonio, even though San Antonio's got a good defense.
We're going to get all of their rushing. If Bama is if Birmingham is rushing and the defense is playing well, which is what this lineup says, and the only thing that happens on the other side is Garber throws some touchdowns to Justin Smith, then we got the lineup.
So, again, I appreciate Donnie being able to join us, given this could be a historic night for him in all sincerity. So, if you got to run, Donnie, it's fair. I did want to mention, if we did take out our lowest guy, which would be the defense, and use that $1,000, just to show people the range, we would be looking at Lovett, which I think is a lot higher owned option. So I think the Stallions defense for that reason will go lower owned. So this is definitely a play to be different lineup, because I think a lot of people will just play John Lovett, and we could get that hot potato game where we just get a bunch of nonsense, and that's the kind of we're playing for a points-driven nonsensical game.
Do we trust Lovett, A, against Birmingham because he's never faced Birmingham, and B, sharing with Anthony McFarland?
I mean, if you're trying to go consistent, conservative, I think he scores more than the defense, but I think the defense fits this lineup and the narrative we're telling ourselves. I'm just saying, if you were going to ask a guy who he's more likely to play, I think John Lovett has the higher ownership over the Stallions defense.
I'd be surprised if that was the case based off of the past, but you never know.
Maybe. I think our lowest own guy will be Marable.
I hope that's the case. I mean,
I have him captain in my personal.
Do you?
Yeah. Because Marable definitely gets more of the groundwork and the goal line work. So
our lowest owned guy is probably going to be Justin Smith, captain. That will be sub 10.
Oh yeah. I wasn't considering that.
That's going to be 6% at captain at most.
Yeah.
I feel like the Marable captain is just enough to get different, and I get a lot of stuff off of it. So
yeah, see, that's the thing. We don't need much difference when we have a 6% captain. If we get one dude sub 50% in the defense, when we're playing all the opposites against it, where most people make rules and optimizers to not have that.
Right, but this lineup could win. It could, because all we're doing is just playing a hot potato defense game where there's a lot of sacks, and then both teams are having to throw. Right? Mm-hmm. What kills this lineup? What's the antidote to this lineup? A rushing game?
The anti-lineup, the lineup that says the opposite of this
would
be
the opposite
San Antonio getting up early and running.
Yeah, McFarland and Lovett going crazy.
And Bama having to do Bama throwing interceptions and playing dirty.
Well, or you see a Corral appearance as well.
Something with a Stevenson or a Kirkland captain with Garbers,
right?
And then also play Smith and play the San Antonio defense, and then on the other side you fit whatever Bama pieces you can.
See, I think we could even afford a good Kirkland game as long as he doesn't score the touchdown. Let's say he gets them down to the red zone on a big 40-yard pass. As long as we get the garbage touchdown to Smith or someone else, then we still benefit. That's where this lineup is unique.
And I will say, in some capacity, every lineup should have Smith, so I think it's very interesting to put him at captain. Just the volume that Smith gets is so insanely out there.
Yeah.
For the championship week, I think we have to take that risk.
Hey, if he scores 2 touchdowns, we might be locked in no matter what. There's a lot of ways this lineup is so unique it gets first, and I don't think there's a lot of ways it completely is a dumpster fire.
No, I like what we've done here, and I think it's a very safe yet effective lineup.
It's unique, but I agree, there's plenty of safety in that lineup. There's raw points that will definitely be there. We have a shot at first while still having a heavy cash rate.
Yeah.
However you want to say it. ROI looks good on that.
I am not shocked by this Celtics game right now, honestly.
Drew Holiday is throwing. He's doing absolutely nothing.
That's fine. I mean,
he's playing no defense. He's just throwing balls at the rim, not even for shot. He's doing absolutely nothing.
It always shocks me to see modern NBA scores by halftime. 30 years ago, 28-52 would be a shocker. Today, that's nothing.
No, this is an absolute shocker.
Yeah, 28 points by the Celtics.
This is absolutely shocking.
Yeah, the Celtics do not keep their score at 28 for this long. They have been bad.
Well, for the Celtics case, yes, but I've heard of bad NBA teams having scores like this at halftime.
No, but this is just something the Celtics do. They just randomly lose a game by 30 points and look absolutely awful.
But I can at least chalk this up to desperation from Dallas
and have the best point differential, and and look like the best team.
Did they just have a shot clock turnover?
Yes,
Yeah, shot clock violation. Yes.
Ooh, that's not a mistake you want to make at this time of the year, but okay.
No, that's
I
what
don't
mean.
think
That's
I've
like-
seen the Celtics make that mistake all year long.
Oh, I have. They've looked like shit to me.
No, but they usually at least get the shot up.
They do tend to go very stagnant, and
Drew Holiday has become a corpse on the court.
Yeah, and Horford having 2 fouls early, that really hurts. So
It is Holiday at Bernie's.
I mean, you're pulling all the corniness in that.
what is it, 25 points difference? Damn.
Yeah, it's ugly early, but it's not over.
150 yesterday at halftime, in the last game.
Damn, Kyrie off the side of the backboard again.
Since this is the last week, though, for the UFL, I pulled up my lineup just to show a difference. Like, what lineup do you think? Tell the people, I guess, what the worst lineup would be, or like what the chalkiest, like most conventional danger zone lineup would be, or is there any traps that you want to avoid? I mean, I know we're talking about a smaller field here. We're talking about, small edges. But is there one thing, like, for sure you wouldn't do?
I'd consider everything.
I would not captain Martinez, for example, given he was benched, given...
Yeah, no, I definitely... I'm not captaining Martinez. Yeah.
You're telling me you wouldn't captain the UFL MVP?
I'm telling you that, yes.
I also would not recommend captaining Anthony McFarland after that big game he just had. You know a lot of people are going to be picking him.
Another one that I would stay away from.
I am fading him completely.
Yeah, I would.
McFarland has a better shot, I think. But
he's got the highest upside for a home run hitter. That includes wide receiver, in my opinion, because he's such a pass catcher too.
When I picked McFarland for the lineup last week, did you guys think I was nuts?
No, because he's always had the upside. He's just been really super injured.
Yeah.
And in the last game of the season, who knows what we were going to see? Like, it was...
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to Donnie's Boston Celtics. It's only relevant because the game's on. But, like, Kristaps Porzingis is always going to be talented, right? The question with him is, can he stay healthy enough to show that talent? That's always been his concern. And that's been McFarland's concern, too, even going back to his NFL exposure with the Steelers.
And with how infrequent field goals happen in the UFL, you'd be insane to pick a kicker.
Well, I'm sorry. You will never, well, especially for captain, yeah. But you will never see me in any circumstance play a guy named Blewett as a kicker. I refuse to do it. I don't care if he's the best kicker in the league.
To be fair, because that is a good point. I kind of forgot. Like, we see a lot of kickers in showdown NFL lineups go, do you think people will just kind of port over because it's the Super Bowl? Or not the Super Bowl, I'm sorry. Because it's a final game. There's not a whole lot of other sports going on. It's a Father's Day weekend, so it's known for sports, but there's not a whole lot going on. Do you think someone's just going to port over and be like, I want some action in this game? I don't know that much. I know kickers are consistent. Like, are people going to make that mistake?
Who was that question for?
Go specifically, because I know he usually plays kicker in showdown.
I don't mind playing kicker for showdown either. But if you
because they're not going to get those guaranteed 1 points off touchdowns,
right,
it's harder for me to do it.
That's
I really can't do it.
But
look at Chris Blewett's stats, Logan. Pull up his player card. Look how insane this is.
But that's what I'm saying is because we know that slight finer detail in the UFL. But I'm saying how many people are just going to look at this like professional football and assume there's an extra point when there's really not.
Dumbasses, yeah.
Right. And maybe we don't got to worry about that last year. Ryan Santoso is Brahma's kicker. Is that who you wanted?
No, the Stallions kicker. Chris Blewett.
Oh, yeah.
His fantasy stats, it says he averages like 8 points per game, but look at it actually.
Yeah, look at his actual game log and how infrequent he's used. I think he's also been injured, too, because he's questionable.
But
do they have a second kicker?
No.
Well, that may be why they haven't used him, and I don't think they'd bother with a second kicker in the UFO when you just go for it all the time.
But see, that's a valid point. Like I'm playing Mac in my lineup, for example, because he is the only tight end that the Brahmas are going to play in this game. He's the only one. And even if there is only one kicker, or they have to use a punter as a kicker, or whatever they do, you guys are right. There's no extra points. But I do think there's an edge. I do think there's going to be a lot of casuals that come in and be like, well, I heard that, this is their last game, so I'm just going to play it, just have some action.
While we talk about UFL kickers, by the way, Bates did get signed by the Lions, the Michigan kicker.
Did he?
Yes, he is officially a Detroit Lion. So, another UFL guy making it to the big leagues.
I think that's smart. It's not just a Lions situation either. He's obviously playing there. You're exposed to him. He's very close to, he probably is around some of the same environments that a lot of the other professionals are, but then also the Lions have a problem at kicker position. We've had a problem since Dan Campbell was there. I was going to mention
kicker's so hard to get right, man.
Is there anyone that you feel like has already locked up an NFL spot that doesn't want to play that hard in this week? Is there any of those sorts of edges?
Being that there's a lot on the line, I don't think people are going to refuse to play hard. They're going to play their ass off here because they want the NFL scouts to go, yeah, this guy's the real deal. Sign him.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, I was just looking for any kind of under the radar edge that maybe a because we mentioned kickers being a big edge because we know they don't get the extra point bonus, right? So is there any smart edges for a UFL outside of that? I could honestly see Kirkland maybe not trying as hard because I do think he's locked up an NFL spot.
I think most football players, especially when you get to that level, they're gonna play for the competition of it. He's definitely more concerned about winning this game. I mean,
we went this deep on the UFL all season long. We might as well go, as deep as we possibly can for the last game. I honestly, I'll say this with pride. The reason we did it is because we're a small podcast. We needed the exposure. We needed to be different. But damn it, no one's covered the UFL as much as we have and as serious as we have. I'll be honest about that.
It's been a lot of fun too.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, I will say I absolutely love everything about this league so far. I don't have many complaints. And it's just different enough to not feel like the NFL. But I'm still getting good football. They have their growing pains, and Donnie's been the lucky one out of the four of us to even go to a game and get the experience.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm proud. We've kind of covered it in all areas. We've covered it as a fan. Donnie actually went because I do think a good portion of the reason you went is because you felt connected. You felt that kind of connection. For sure. Yeah, I know these guys. This will be a good story. I can bring to the podcast. That's the kind of stuff that we want to do on the show. The reason to care. That's kind of the podcast, and it's a sense. It's everyone does podcasts these days. So I'm just giving you my reason to care about the sport. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm transparently showing you what I do on a weekly basis. This is going to be my personal lineup.
Hey, Gov, I just want to say you are, I think, 0.5 points behind me on, you're now 2 points behind me on DK. This lineup that we got.
Well, yeah, because Drew Holiday sucks ass.
I just saw your name on my screen when I was looking
Drew
at
Holiday is a corpse. Absolute corpse.
Speaking of some live sweats, though, we are going to be experimenting with different platforms in the coming weeks. Maybe some live streams on Spotify or Twitch, or just trying to get some different exposures. It obviously benefits us, but it benefits you guys to maybe share it with a friend to get it out there. I mean, we have Gov's link in there. We've done a lot of networking. Shout out to there's a guy who works for Sports Illustrated who covers the UFL. He's actually given us some good intel. So the people who covered the UFL at this point, including us, have really tried hard. So if you do appreciate the work that they've done, just give them a quick little shout out. I mean, these people, like I said, including us, have really had to do a lot of work.
Kleba for 3. He's at 8 points, Logan.
That might be enough.
That might be enough, yes. At 2%.
But to go full circle before we wrap up here, Don, that's honestly what we're looking for in this kind of showdown too. It's like the one random guy to get 8 points, or the guy to accidentally fall in the end zone. I think it's going to be Mac. Is there anyone that's under the radar that hasn't performed well that maybe you want to get lucky with in this slate?
I wouldn't say he hasn't performed well, but
The dead man hit a 3.
I am playing a Sternberger. I have not done all year, but I will be playing him this upcoming game.
I'm playing Mac just based on volume. He's literally the only tight end they have on the roster.
I mean, Sternberger, last time he played San Antonio, got 9 targets. If they go back to that, maybe.
I mean, at least Mac has barely been involved in the offense at all for the Brahmas. So, I mean, I would expect nobody to want to play him, but I can see why you'd want to be different.
But it's the first time all year they've only went with one tight end. So, at least I know he's going to be on the field, and they do like to run the ball.
Which means he's going to be doing a lot more blocking than getting targeted. But
that also means there's a chance of play action dump offs.
And if you guys don't know, Gov and me go way back. It's his Mercedes Lewis kind of play with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. You just want that end zone, green zone opportunity, that 1 yard, dump off for a touchdown.
And even in this league, you could get the 1 yard dump off for a 1 pointer.
Right. Evan, you got anyone that's going under the radar you think that you think is worth a name?
That's why I captained Justin Smith, because I think despite the volume that he's gotten, I mean, he's not going to be completely unknown, but I think a lot of people are not going to think to captain him.
It's a good philosophy. So instead of getting way different and going way off the board, you're saying just play the popular guy, just play him differently, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, I don't want to... I thought about doing Amari Rodgers, but Amari Rodgers, he gets some volume too, but he's just not involved in the offensive game plan to matter. So I just didn't want to waste that spot on him.
I disagree. I think he gets plenty of work, and then it's like he won't do anything with it. Like, they want to get him the ball, clearly. It's shown all year they want him to be involved.
I disagree. He's lucky to get 1 target, even against Memphis's shitty defense.
If you look at it, he's been getting mostly 3, especially later in the year. It's really jumped up 3, 6, 3, 5.
Who got hurt that led to the volume that he was getting?
I have no idea.
Somebody got hurt, and that's why Amari Rodgers is getting a little more volume.
Kane got hurt. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
I did see him run out of the stadium.
Kane got hurt, and then Williams was hurt in the beginning of the year. Williams missed the first 3 weeks of the season.
But that was when he caught the touchdown. But he didn't. He was every other one of his catches. Kane was back in the game.
Before people forget the question, that we can circle back. Gov, who's the one guy under the radar, not talked about, or at least on your radar? Like, he could be talked about. Well, who deserves more credit than they're getting so far this week?
Oh, that's a tough question, though.
I'm not even going to hold you to playing the guy. Like, I'm not saying you got to play him, but who did you consider that needs to be shot out?
I mean, to be honest, my player pool was kind of small. We went over most of everyone.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing Mac, though, but you always play someone I always should think about.
I think there's somebody here that's going to be overowned that doesn't deserve it.
For me, that's McFarland.
I was thinking Jordan Thomas, man. Like, he's had 2 games this whole year where he's gotten stuff, obviously off touchdowns.
I would have played him, but honestly, the Mac play just makes so much sense because he's the same play, but Mac's like $2,000 cheaper,
and that's why it's a bad play at this point.
Right.
Like, there's a cheaper option. He's going to give you the same amount of work, but it's cheaper.
And at least, I'm kind of with you because at least maybe you could see a screen pass being broke for Rodgers, or he returns a kick return and gets points that way. If that's possible in this league, I'm not.
Rodgers does have points for kick return. Yes, he is their kick returner and punt returner.
So those kind of if you're going to take the shot, at least you give yourself more outs essentially. I kind of agree with you. I think Thomas doesn't give you enough upside given his price and opportunity.
So Logan, being that you are going to take a shot at an Elise Mack, how is he going to get any sense of volume when we have Kirkland healthy, Stevenson healthy, Ellison is healthy, even Turner is healthy? There's a lot of healthy options in front of him who get more targets.
He's on the field.
but not getting targets.
But it lets Logan afford a lot more. Like, what is he going to do with that extra $900? There's
The
nothing.
extra what box?
He has $900 here that he could spend otherwise.
I
Max is
mean,
the only guy on the field at this price range.
I mean, with the 1,000 that we're leaving on the table, or well, actually 900.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's this is Logan's here with
This
Max.
is
Yeah,
my- really
but I mean, I'm fine leaving that much on the table for this lineup, like we did with 1,000 with ours. So
Yeah, like this one, it's like at least he gets the Kirkland and Smith production along with Garbers, Martinez, Williams.
I think to Evan's point that the big switch here would be not playing Williams. It'd be going down from Williams. It'd be
I would
Rodgers.
argue go up from Williams to Kane, but which is something you could do, but maybe that's something you didn't notice at that time or don't care.
But Williams is getting more volume recently. Like Kane was getting it in the beginning of the season. He was hurt. Now Williams is getting more volume.
it's hard to gauge the pass catchers for the Stallions because they just love running the football so much. There's not a clear number one.
But Evan,
They're definitely willing to like run 2 running backs and Martinez. So like
But when Martinez
It's
doesn't
hard to
play, man, Corral was slinging that thing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and he is willing to sling it to more guys. Whereas Martinez, he kind of liked the couple dudes basically.
and that would be my answer, Evan. I know it could fail, like, but a guy that's higher owned with just as much time on the field could also get you a 0. At least I know there's no position behind him.
I understand.
He would be
Yeah.
the only guy on the field.
I
Yeah.
will say something that's good for ratings with San Antonio winning. Isn't the San Antonio the team that the YouTuber D-Strong was playing for at the
It
beginning
was.
of the year?
He was trying to, and then he got hurt.
He was playing actual football for them. So I do think that brings an interesting YouTube audience to this game.
Well, now that we're at the audience point of the show, I will just say the one coach I feel like deserves an NFL shot is the offensive coordinator for the Brahmas. AJ Smith has been very, very creative and like has the right tenacity to like care about the NFL and is still young enough to do it. Like you could say Wade Phillips, but Wade Phillips is what 85.
Well, Wade Phillips is like if he wants another defensive coordinator job, you're not going to say no. But
well, I think at this point Wade Phillips is like a consultant. Like he's more of a game box guy. He's more of a guy you would bring on for like draft discussions midway through the year.
He was still doing when he left the NFL. He was still doing a great job as a DC.
It's true, but I think the game passes you up quick. They call it the not for a long week, But I just think there's a lot of cool storylines with the Brahmas. But maybe I'm biased because Chase Garbers was the guy that won me that contest when I did take first place. So I'm telling you what, if I win money with Garbers specifically or the Brahmas this week, I do think I got to invest in some merch because I do think we'll continue to do this next season as well. We have some cool best ball stuff coming down the channel. We're going to do a full ratings review. Evan, I don't know if you know this, but the number one content builder in the offseason for football, surprisingly enough, as much as it is on YouTube, is Dynasty coverage. So I'm very excited to get kind of your Dynasty take to a best ball league. This is the first time you've done it. I think our rating show is going to be just a fun collaboration. It's going to be probably one of our more interesting shows. And
yeah, Dynasty in general is hard to make money off of with not just primer articles, but just any Dynasty article altogether. You see a lot of the industry chasing what's popular right now because that's just how you work the SEO, the YouTube algorithm, and that's where they try to maximize the profits. So I don't mind going a little different here because, somebody's got to cover the content.
Yep. And the other news that we might cover, at some point in the offseason leading up to the NFL is I heard that Underdog is considering maybe doing a salary game for the NFL season. DraftKings is considering pulling back some of the contests for the NFL. These are some of the rumors. So this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be ramping up to. I always have Sunday Ticket. Donnie loved the preseason football as well. So don't worry. We're still going to cover the niches, the UFC. I did it again. See, I'm trying to get out of here. The UFL is the niche that's ending, but we still have a lot of edges to grind. With that being said, good night, guys. We'll get out of here. Have a good one.
Night, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody.
Peace out, everyone.
At least
Go Dallas!
Listen, desperation wins happen. Playing off desperation.